from the Bible, no, should be the traditions that we should follow. So it doesn't matter if you wear the clothes, but you don't follow through. Like the Islamic side where they choose to wear clothes, cover all their faces and all that, but yes, they don't follow through. Then that's a problem. They don't really try to get the understanding of all this. Most of them even go take the opportunity to read the book. Just like the Christians. Nobody read the book. They claim the practice. I mean, people, if somebody has not read through the book, head to toe, to see all that he has to see, he cannot just say by birth, I'm a Christian. How can you say that? Or by birth, I'm a Muslim. What makes you a Muslim? You want to get that, you need to get to the book. Take the book, because the book is the terms and conditions. You go through, you sign that I agree that this book and all that is from God, is the order that I want to follow through. But they take them into the mosque or to the church, swearing by anything, baptize him anyhow, and they say, go. You are now a Christian, you are now a Muslim, you are now Alaji, you are now Ajia, just go, And they take the man and they dress up nice, and the dressing that they have make them look holy. Not necessarily them themselves, but the dressing, the fact that he puts out nice dress, he would drive cars, he's in a good shape, he put nice presentation all the time, then he's quiet, and he shows a modest, calm approach to everything, and does not raise insults anyhow, or he's very much, controlling his life, holding things inside, and, does not really come out playing, because he sort of he developed his own mode, way of living, to please people all the time. He doesn't necessarily have to read the Bible or read the Quran or follow any terms of rules. If he goes in and he hears certain directions, okay, he follows through. But deep down, he's been, baptized or been accepted as being a Muslim. And yet, he hasn't got a clue of what the history tells to tell him or her, except what his family told him, whether they lied or not, whether they misquote something or not. And so it's very shaky and very unstable. Religion today is very shaky and very unstable. It makes people's life more shaky and unstable. It makes the production, at the end of the day, what we produce out of religion and culture is not necessarily giving us the expectations we have when we read the book. Because the book tells us some strong expectations, gives us high expectations of things. But in practicality, we don't witness that, because it is always the negative things that we are doing something negative to what practically is acceptable. Joseph dreams. Now, Joseph is one of the children of Jacob now, who, as a result of being sold by his brothers through envy, because he was a true child of Rachel, the true child of Rachel, who was the lover, the true chosen lover of what? Jacob. So like Jacob really cared or loved Joseph so much, and he sort of cherished Joseph as his precious son. The envy among the brothers, who were born out of, some were born out of maid servants, some were born out of Leah, who just Jacob didn't love. Here we have Jacob demonstrating his love towards, he loved all his children, but his love more, loving his son Joseph more, because somehow he's discriminating among his own sons. Look at all that. It wasn't fair, it wasn't nice, but that's what he did. So the anger of all the big brothers went towards Joseph, and they tried to kill him or do something harm to him. They sell him. Even they would have killed him. It didn't end up that way. Somebody, if you read the book will tell you that it's God's will, that God wanted him to go to Egypt so that he bring famine to the people. I mean, if God is all knowing, what is the trick here? I mean, if Jacob is hating all the rest of the children or treating them differently, God could have intervened and warned Jacob. Jacob is obedient to God. He feared God, only God. God intervened and said, hey, your heart is not right. Why are you loving just Joseph and leaving the rest of your flesh and blood children? That's not nice. You're generating anger towards them, and they will hate that boy for nothing. God could have stopped it there. It won't pursue further for all the storyline of them ending, taking Joseph into that situation and selling him, and him ending up in Egypt, and God bringing famine and hunger to the whole world, only for the reason that they will go back to Joseph, or Joseph will sort of now be the ruler ruling over them and what fulfill a promise or some sort of a prophecy. It's a nice story. It does whole presentation. It's all nice. It's all relatable to certain way of life. But the way of life that we have are also unnecessary. If the living God every day has pursued perfection for all his things, that's what the book also tells us, that when God did everything, he says they were good. Is this what he was expecting? That he said was good? And if this was what he expected, that's why he said everything he did was good. Then he turns around and said that what he has expected has been surprised by something else that he never expected. God did not know the interference that will come to his perfect work, and interfered in his perfect work to the extent of which he has reached right now, that he has to live sometimes regretting, forgetting, fearing sorrow and regretting all the time, and back and forth and back and forth. It's not very ideal to my sense of the description we have of God. So we have to then look at things in the right way and embrace God in the right way. This is why we are struggling. And Joseph's dreams. Now Jacob dwelt in this Genesis 37. Jacob having dream of the father, a stranger in the land of Canaan, where his father was a stranger in the land of what? Canaan. This is the history of Joseph being 17 years old, was feeding the flock of his brothers, and the laid was with the sons of Bela and the sons of Zippah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought a bad report of him to his father. This is where Joseph is trying to give some sort of dream, revealing what will happen to him in the future. God is showing him all that. I mean, why would God show you dreams of things terrible, what will happen to? Why God wants you to go through all that? Why God wanted Joseph to go through all those things? To test him, to make him strong. Is it the process of creation? That a man is not just created by just instant creation, but somehow you grow, and as you grow, and that is creation. You are being created as you grow every day to become the image that you are meant to be. Maybe that is the case. In fact, that is the situation. That's what happens, isn't it? You grow, you adapt to so many things, and you become the image that you are. So, in the perfection of what God has said in Genesis 1, 2, 3 of his creation, that it was good. This is it. All the intended things that is meant to be, that we grow in the midst of it to become the images that we become. Whether you become a farmer, whether you become a criminal, whatever, it's all meant to be there. They were all there. God made those instances to be there and mold us according to how he wants to mold us. So why, in some way, it is also presented that God, Jehovah, to say that, hey, I created the sick, I created the healthy one, I created the one who is meant to destroy and punish other people, and others who is not meant to punish and destroy other people, but to help and give hand to other people. Charitable means, God made all those things. He made the cripple, he made the one who has got straight hands. So he made all these differences that we have in our life that we keep criticizing and having issue with. So why the complaints? That is who God is. So God is not necessarily entirely the descriptions that we give. There are limitations. There are bad things that we don't like of each other. Some of the things we don't like, but we don't, we make not to like certain things and to like some things. God gave us all those situations that we are in, whatever our nature looks like. And so if you look into the book, and we are having or being taught things to make us realize that we are meant to train ourselves to love everything, then we are somehow rejecting the wishes of God. God wants us not to like everything, but to like some things and not to like something. That's how he wants things to be. He made things to be that way. Why would he then, wants us to be another way, like being straightforward and dropping away the things that we will consider as not good or not something that we like.